Welcome to the Vanishing Map Storytime, where stories speak and answers echo. The Cake Dilemma by Sean Nee. Chapter 5. The Libakery of Dream Cakes. The scent hit them first. Sugar, butter, and something else warm, like a cake fresh out of the oven. Rosie and Rayden stood frozen, their feet planted on a floor made of golden jelly. Above them, the ceiling stretched high into the sky, dotted with twinkling lights like stars made of sugar. Towering shelves surrounded them, but instead of books, the walls were lined with cakes of every shape, size, and color. Some were neatly arranged in rows, while others hovered slightly above their plates as if waiting to be chosen. Frosting swirled through the air like enchanted ribbons, curling and twisting in delicate, weightless patterns.
"Where are we?"
Rosie whispered. A deep voice filled the air, rich and smooth like melted chocolate.
Welcome, young explorers.
Rosie straightened. Rayden turned his head so quickly that the curl at the top of his head bounced. Even Rochi's ears twitched.
What's going on?"
Rayden asked, squinting. From somewhere above, the voice chuckled.
I am the Cakekeeper.
Rosie and Rayden looked up, and their jaws nearly hit the floor. High above them, floating in the golden glow of the ceiling, was an enormous, moon-shaped face that beamed down at them. The figure had puffy cheeks, round and soft, like the tops of freshly baked buns. His crescent-shaped eyes twinkled with quiet amusement, folding at the corners like delicate pastry pleats. His wide, toothy grin stretched across his face, as if he had just taken a bite of the most perfect cake in existence. He wasn't just above them, he was woven into the ceiling of the chamber. Rosie narrowed her eyes.
"The what now?"
The Cakekeeper.
The velvety voice repeated.
The keeper of cakes. The guardian of frosting. The custodian of confections. The watcher of the whipped. The sentinel of the sugared.
Rayden's mouth opened even wider.
"You're telling me you're the keeper of all cakes?"
Ah, you do understand. Very good.
The Cakekeeper's voice carried a note of approval as if Rayden had just passed some kind of sacred pastry test. There was something both whimsical and ancient about the Cakekeeper, an air of timelessness, as though he had been watching over cakes and their stories for centuries. Rosie folded her arms.
"Wait, so you just exist here? Watching over cakes?"
And ensuring they are remembered, cherished, and, when the time is right, savored.
The Cakekeeper confirmed.
Cakes are more than just dessert, young ones. They are history, celebration, and joy. And it's my honorable duty to be here overseeing the Libakery, where every cake ever imagined, baked, and loved is kept safe.
Libakery, as in a library of cakes?
Rayden spun in place, taking in the endless shelves stacked with cakes.
That might be the best job I've ever heard of.
Rosie scrunched her nose the way she always did when something didn't quite add up.
Wait, how do we even get here?
The Cakekeeper's crescent eyes glowed with knowing.
Ah, you must have arrived through the Vanishing Map. A map that reveals hidden places only those with a vivid mind can perceive.
Rosie frowned and asked,
A vivid mind?
Yes, the kind that sees beyond the ordinary.
The Cakekeeper explained.
The kind that finds magic where others see only dust.
Rayden's grin stretched wider.
Yep, that sounds like us.
The Cakekeeper chuckled and said,
Indeed, the Vanishing Map brought you here for a reason. Now tell me, what do you seek?
Rayden exchanged glances with Rosie, who straightened, brushing non-existent crumbs off her hoodie.
"We need help picking the best birthday cake flavor for our grandpa,"
she said. Rayden bounced on his toes and said,
"Maybe you can help us?"
He flung his arms toward the towering rows of cakes. The Cakekeeper's smile stretched wider. The lights of the Libakery flickered as if the entire chamber had just perked up with interest.
Ah,
His voice rippled with delight.
now that is a worthy quest.
Rayden clapped his hands.
"So, can we try some cakes?"
Rosie hesitated.
Wait! Should we really be eating cake in a weird magical place we just stumbled into?
Before the Cakekeeper could answer, a soft purring sound filled the air. Rosie and Rayden turned just in time to see Rochi stretch lazily, her orange fur gleaming under the golden light. She flicked her tail, utterly unbothered by the fact that they had crash-landed into an enchanted bakery. And then, to their surprise, Rochi said,
Why not try it?
Rosie and Rayden froze. Rayden's voice came out in a barely audible squeak.
Did Rochi just talk?
Yes,
Rochi said, blinking at them with calm green eyes.
I can talk.
Rosie staggered back.
Since when?
Rochi licked a paw, completely unfazed.
Only in places the Vanishing Map takes us.
Rayden clutched his head like his brain might explode.
This is officially the best day of my life.
Rosie exhaled sharply, shaking her head.
Okay, so talking cat, enchanted bakery, great. But isn't it reckless to go further without knowing the dangers?
True. If you weren't here with me.
Rochi stretched, flicking her tail.
I guided you here for a reason. Turning your back on a solution when it's staring you in the face, now that would be foolish.
Rayden was already bouncing on his heels.
Rochi's got a point, Rosie. We're in a library of cakes. Where else can we find the best cake for Grandpa?
A beat of silence later, Rosie sighed.
Fine.
She turned to the Cakekeeper, determination glaring in her eyes.
But if we're picking the best cake flavor, we're gonna need a taste test.
The Cakekeeper let out a pleased laugh and said,
A wise decision.
The floor beneath them rumbled. Slowly, a round table rose from the ground, its golden tablecloth shimmering like spun sunlight. Plush chairs slid into place behind them, as if guided by invisible hands. The Cakekeeper's voice was smooth as caramel dripping from a spoon.
Sit, let the tasting begin.
Stay tuned for the next chapter, Chapter 6, The Great Cake Tasting.